people. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Sound Pollution. Uncle Brent is not with us for this week's episode. The man works harder than anyone I know, and he will be back for next week's show. Speaking of hard work in the Austin area, our mini tour is coming together, and we are so excited about the lineup. Please make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to Sound Pollution so that you are up to date with all the info. Also, if you are able, we are looking for patrons. The link is below. This week, I interview Maude and Danney of Bank Myna all the way from Paris, France. They are going to be telling you about their latest release, Ancient Internet, Unicorn Drummers, how they got together, movements and not tracks, and their interesting live setup. They will also share the stories behind some good music. Please, please, please make sure you click those links below, buy their music, buy their merch, show the artists some love. Also, they are looking for venues for an upcoming European tour. If you are interested in hosting them or know somebody who is interested or has a venue, please reach out to them or slip to my DMs and I can make the introduction. Now off to the show.
We'll try to do our best.
Yeah. You're doing fine. Your accents are amazing. You're making me so happy.
Nice.
Where are you at in France?
Here we are in Paris currently. Yeah.
It's in the studio where we
rehearse here, so it's our rehearsal space.
That's wonderful.
Of I don't know, amplifier.
Yeah, I could see it. A big one. Yeah. What is Paris like?
Oh wow, that's a tough question.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's very lively.
But that's when you live here, you lost like the sense of beauty because you get used to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go abroad and I come back to Paris, what the fuck is really nice.
You're like, I really missed it. Hold on. I do the same thing because I live in the south of the United States right now. And when I go visit my family and they live on the coast, unlike California, so long, it's like an 8-hour flight. Whenever I visit them, I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful here. So how did this group come to be?
Well, basically it started with me and our previous drummer. We actually found ourselves in Paris and we didn't have a band anymore. And we wanted to create a post-rock band influenced by mainly Sigur Rós. So it has changed quite a bit. And we actually posted an ad online and this guy answered.
We were like,
oh my god, it's so nice and funny and really, really great.
And really much spontaneously.
Friendship at first sight.
I like that, yeah. Like the perfect band fit.
Yeah, exactly. So we started playing all together and then we looked for a guitar player. Yeah. And Fab came along, but it was
longer,
more difficult.
Yeah, we found we discussed with several guitarists, we tried with them. It wasn't like fitting perfectly, and then suddenly Fabian is not with us.
Yeah, he's not with us.
So, it was also
a friendship at first.
Exactly.
So, we started in 2013.
Already.
So that's some time ago now. We released the first EP in 2016, but it was more like a collection of songs than a very coherent.
It was more a patchwork of songs that we were composing. It was not like we didn't felt it like a whole thing, like this album that we just released. That's coherent.
The first EP you just kind of threw together what songs you had. Yeah. And then the second one, you were like, we're going to lay this out in an exact way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was more like a concept behind it in this album, but it took us a long time because, almost 6 years, because in the meantime, we released a single that was slightly darker than what we previously did. And then our drummer left. He actually left Paris for another city, so it was not possible to keep on playing with him. And we were with no drummer, so no rhythmic basses. And we were like, okay, well, let's try playing with that. Maybe we can sort something out without a proper rhythm.
And it's interesting because I find, and we've discussed this on this podcast with other bands, drummers are really hard to find.
Yes.
It's annoying. It's annoying. A friend of mine is a drummer here, and he calls himself the unicorn because not only is he a drummer, but he has a practice space.
Oh, yeah.
So he's always in like 3 bands at once.
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that drummers are like a little bit like unicorn.
Yeah.
Because our drummer we think is really a unicorn. We spend a lot of time searching drummers because we needed someone that was able to send very hard parts when needed. But we able to, for the parts that are more soft, being able to have this sense of, I don't know how to say it, like feeling of that. And we could find people that were able to send, very hard drums, but you don't have this sensibility. On the contrary, some of them that had the sensibility, but then when you needed to hit hard, they were not so able. We spent a lot of time searching for the good match. And now, like 6 months ago, more or less, after the release of the album, that was with a drummer. It was just electronic.
It was perfect.
Yeah,
he was perfect.
He still is.
Yeah.
She's like forever. He's perfect forever.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because some people are usually really good in like one genre. You were looking for something really specific. That's interesting. So tell my listeners who each of you are, which I should have started with. I'm sorry. And what you do in the band.
I play bass, I play guitar, and some machines. I have built like a kind of noise machine with a wooden box with the springs and metal stuff that I hit, and I make like strange sounds that you can hear in the beginning of the album. Okay. Yeah, and some drum sounds also with some machines.
And his name is Danney.
Yes, I'm Danney.
He's like, oh yeah.
And he also made the video clip. For Los Ojos de un Cielo Sin Luz.
Yes.
I was gonna ask who did that. Okay.
And I'm Maude. I play violin on the album. I also sing and I some kind of play keyboards. Well, I don't really play. I just push an A.
Yeah.
And that's all during the entire album. So.
Not because he doesn't know how to play, because he didn't have to do it in the album, but he plays very well keyboard as well.
So you only used the one key on the keyboard for the album?
Yeah.
Explain that to me. Why was that what you did? That's interesting.
I think we wanted to play with drones and textures. Okay. So basically this keyboard sound is like what links all the songs all together in the album. So it's one key, well actually 2, but it's the same one, not the same height. So it links all the songs together, and I just played on the effects. So the note doesn't change.
But it's a different effect every song?
No, it's more like there's a more or less
distortion, let's say,
or chorus, and it moves like that a little bit. So it gives different intensities throughout the songs, and we really wanted to play on that on the record.
But it's from the beginning of the album to the end. It is all the time.
It's an A the whole time.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
And that's funny because we actually tried to play with a drummer who has a really huge classical background, and he was like, but it's the same key throughout the album, why didn't it change? And he didn't understand that you can be creative without that, or like having the same key throughout a song. For him,
using it differently.
Not possible. Yeah.
He couldn't handle it.
No, he was like, that's really strange. Is it because you were, I don't know, bored or something? No, just we played on, as I said, textures and intensities instead of melodies.
Well,
So,
there are melodies that was around the A all the time, but as it was a whole thing, it's like the album we really like one song with 5 movements. Yes, so
I heard that when I was listening to it. Explain your sound to my listeners. How would you classify yourselves? Or can you classify yourself?
It's difficult to classify. Well, generally we use the words post-rock, drone,
experimental
and doom, depending on the part of the album or where it's a mix of, or there are parts of all of that. But if you say someone, we are post-rock, you're going to say, it is not post-rock. If you say,
doesn't sound like Mogwai.
So I think it's kind of mix of all of that.
Oh, it's like drones, textures, layers, Larsens, and airy vocals.
Yes,
is that an accurate description?
That's perfect. And my final beginning question, not my final question, just the beginning one. What got you each started in music?
I started when I was 5. I don't know. I think my parents were really into music. They're not musicians at all, but they really like music. I've always listened to music in my house, and they just I don't know, sent me to a music class, and I apparently liked it, so they decided to make me keep on playing.
What was your first instrument?
Piano.
And what about you?
I think the first thing I remember about music was, I don't know, someone offered me when I was a kid a Casio PT 100, old keyboard or toy.
The Casio, yes.
Yeah. And at that time I was very into Indiana Jones. So I was...
Did you say Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Yes, so go ahead. Me too. Same.
Yeah. So I get to play by myself the song of Indiana Jones on the keyboard.
Yeah,
was, wow, I can play that. And I was like showing everyone I do it, and then I was doing the same with 2 fingers. So that's the first.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Thing that I remember about playing music. So, and then when
how old were you?
I don't know. I was like a kid. And then when I grew up,
I'm not going to give you my age by telling you how old I was at the time.
He's the youngest in the team.
No, I don't. But and then when I grew up, there was at home there was a classic guitar. My dad played a little bit when he was younger, so I began to play like "Come As You Are" Nirvana. It was the
Nirvana.
And then little by little, I began to play guitar and going to the park with my friends. I'm old. There was no internet at that time, so if you wanted to play something, you needed to listen, find it by yourself, and then you went to the park and discuss. And I found this one, and you noted, and you just changed like that the song.
We had internet, but it was still dial-up.
Hmm.
You know, and if mom was on the phone, there was no internet. So I'm right there with you. And it is hard. Musicians are right now are very lucky because they can work with people who aren't sitting right next to them. Like they can create music from people far away. If they're questioning a chord in a song they're looking, they just ask Google.
Yeah.
I was like, I had to pray Grandma wasn't on the internet, and we only had one site to go to, and if you couldn't find it, you had to hope your friend had it. It's interesting.
I had books.
Yeah, that also, yeah.
Only the mainstream artists.
Mm-hmm. Only the mainstream, yep.
Yeah, I had the book of Aerosmith.
I had
for music. Piano, and it was piano and the chords.
Yeah, it was like the little chord box in the
and the real partition for piano.
And it was usually like $20, and it was like, no. Okay, I don't feel so alone in my childhood now. So let's talk about The Open Door. Tell me about that track. I really like it, but I'll tell you why after you're done.
What can we say?
Well, it was actually the first one we wrote after our drummer left. We had this show planned at Post in Paris Festival in Paris, of course, in 2019. And we were rehearsing with a drummer, and he basically wasn't showing up anymore to the rehearsals. So we were like, okay, this gig is in 3 months. What are we going to play? And it actually, it was an acoustic gig. So we had to play. We didn't have a drummer anymore, and the gig was in 3 months' time.
Even less, I think.
Or even less. And we're like, okay, maybe we need to, either we play the old songs, but it doesn't make sense because our drummer left.
And we don't have a drummer.
And we don't have a drummer. So we decided to write an entirely new set, which was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, we get a drum machine.
Yeah.
And we say, okay, let's try to do.
Sometimes you gotta do what you do.
Yeah, we were not sure if we were going to be able to play, because it was like a very short time, and we were not into drum machines, so we didn't really know.
You hadn't used drum machines very much. Oh no.
So we say, okay, let's try. We have some pieces of previous songs that we say, okay, let's try. We put the drum machine, we begin to do some rhythms, it begin to feel okay.
Yeah, and I think at this point we decided to not base our music on rhythms anymore. So actually you have rhythms, of course, but they're very, I don't know, they're not complex, and they're more like tribal rhythms than anything else. So we decided to be a little more ambient as well.
And create more of the intensity, not with the, very often when with the drummers, there is an energy depending on the parts that comes from the drummer. There is high dynamics in the drums. So we didn't have that, so we have to create this dynamics with in another way. So for example, Aurora, it's the rhythm is exactly the same from the beginning to the end.
So yeah, about the open door, I think it's a very, for me, it's a very dear song, because it's really the first one we wrote, the new us wrote.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about the album as a whole. I've listened to it and I really like ambient music, so I really, really liked it. It's interesting you said about using the A chord all the way through, because I didn't grasp that that's what you were doing initially, because I was just enjoying the music or I was listening to it passively while I was like doing stuff in my house. But it did feel like, even though it was doom or ambient or experimental or whatever you want to call it, it did feel like, you know how symphonies have like this specific set of songs and it all kind of goes together in that classical way? I feel like you did that with experimental music. Was that intentional?
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
I didn't think about that way, but I mean, I didn't thought that it was that what we were doing, but the idea of having a evolution of in this way, yes, we wanted to do that.
Even though it wasn't classical music, it felt like there was classical training behind it because everything moved in movements so naturally.
Yeah, I think that's what we wanted to achieve, like a long piece of music. So it's not, well, we don't really qualify them as songs as such, but it's 5 movements of one single track.
Okay. Yes, that's what I thought you were doing, and I really enjoyed it. It was actually another song we're going to talk about. I was like, ooh, this feels right. And I was just like really letting it be part of my environment. And you did a good job of that, of making it be, even when you're passively listening to it, you are still part of it in a way. That sounds cheesy, but that's how it felt.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice compliment.
And I think what we wanted to achieve as well is something really immersive somehow, that you get into the music. I've really enjoyed our last shows, for instance, because there were at least one person who showed up afterwards and told us, like, you made me travel. And that's a really, really nice compliment.
That's an amazing compliment. Like, what do you say to that?
I was like, thank you.
Thank you? Yeah, exactly. But you're like, is that enough?
No, then we discuss. We
hug.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
normally they told that to us when we are like kind of taking out our stuff and changing our instruments and so on. So
well, yeah, we're a little bit in a hurry.
Yeah. So then we try to speak with them afterwards and get thank you very much, and you're trying to.
Setting up and breaking down is always a pain in the ass, is what it is. It's like, who's going to carry the drums? I don't want to carry the drums. Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not me, because I don't carry the drums, so I don't want to carry them.
Yeah, normally we don't fight about that because we have like kind of a train. Yeah? So one goes, takes something, and goes, and we turn around.
Like, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You move as a unit even when you're breaking down. That's pretty cool.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You're always working together. So let's talk about Aurora. How did that song come to be?
This one, you have, I think, the chorus part.
Yeah.
We already, before setting the album like it is, was already, you had this idea before, I think.
Yeah, I had the vocals first, or parts of the vocals, and we just jammed on that.
Yeah,
and
I think we found this kind of rhythm very heavy.
I think we wanted it to be really
hypnotic.
Yeah, hypnotic. And so that's why the rhythm is really, it's slow and it's the same one throughout the whole song. A little bit like a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the vocals are a little bit like a ritual as well. Mm-hmm. So I think this is the idea behind it. But it's very different from the other songs, I think, because it was based more on afterwards production than on live.
There's a lot of layers of instruments that were added. So now in live we don't have all that, so there is a drum, so change a lot. Even though we kept a little bit this hypnotic. But at the end, it was the vocals that were already done by Maude. We added this rhythm and we built it around these two things.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, I think this is the only song really based on vocals.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I was gonna say, actually, I felt like the vocals really stood out in that track, and your voice was just beautiful. And that was the one I was like, when I was listening passively, I was cleaning, and then I was like, I should cleanse my house spiritually now, and I don't know why I feel that way. It's very beautiful. What are you saying in the song? Because there are times where I think I know what you're saying, and then there's times I don't.
There's actually a small part in Swedish. Because I love Swedish. I love Sweden. I've lived there. I did my exchange program there when I was a student. And Viska Sova means we are going to sleep. So I like the dichotomy between Aurora and we are going to sleep. It's like you're slightly going from this awake state to this sleeping state in that song. I think that's I don't know, you've opened the door and then you're flowing through the, I don't know what we can say.
I really like it.
It's a very introspective song as well. I mean, the lyrics are really introspective. And I don't want to put a meaning behind it. I think everyone can just interpret that.
What is one of your shows like? What can people expect if they come and see you live?
Well, I hope they're all gonna travel somehow.
If for people, if they listen the album and they come to the concert, they're going to be probably surprised, because with the drums it's much more, it has more impact, it's more post-metal maybe. No, really, but it
has more energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, more energy.
Yeah.
And we really try to build it as an immersive experience. I don't know, for instance, we don't stop between the songs. So we play from minute 0 to minute 50. And I think it helps people not leaving this state.
Yes.
And we play in a half circle. So we all look at each other. I think it's really important for us to get this osmosis when we play all together.
So you're not only listening to each other, you're looking at each other. You're seriously keyed in to what the musicians are. That's interesting. I don't think I would know what to do if I was in a band and somebody was like, we're going to perform looking at each other. No, we're not.
No, I would love it.
But we have visual contact with everyone. We can
I
contact with everyone. So I'm not facing we're not facing the public directly. So we have this kind of possibility of, well, sometimes we look at the public, sometimes it can look at Maude or Fabian, the guitarist, or the drummer.
Or the audience. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, you guys are awesome, because I would hate that on stage. That would freak me out.
It's helping to play all together as a band.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Climax.
Yeah, because you're like not just playing off each other. You're like, look, you can look over and be like, oh, that's what he's doing right now. That's what he's doing right now. I'm not only hearing it, I'm seeing it. Like,
yeah, I want to feel what they are feeling.
You're feeling it, yes. Super keyed into each other. You guys must be really, really tight knit then. Like, you're almost past friends and into family at this point.
Yes. That we are very close.
You're very close. Yeah. Bro. Oh, she loves you so much she was going to knock you out with her head.
I did. But we've known each other for so long now that... Yeah.
That was also part of finding a drummer that was a little bit tricky, because we were the three of us. We know each other for so long, and it was like, to someone external into the family at some point. But yeah, as I said, it was
you managed it
perfectly, and we are really happy. We toured with him. We tour for several concerts now, and it was just amazing. Not only at musical level, but also personal level. We understand very well.
So, do you have any shows coming up in June?
In Paris?
In Paris, no, but no, in June.
In June. No, it's 30 May. Yeah, that's true.
30th of May. So no, we don't have any shows in June. Next shows will be in September.
Okay.
But we don't have the dates yet.
Yeah.
But we can safely say September in France.
France.
There we go.
Yeah,
Italy. Oh my gosh.
We put together a tour through Switzerland, Italy, and south of France, but we are struggling to find
venues.
So if anyone is hearing that and know anywhere where we can put the beginning of September in Switzerland.
Bank Myna is looking for venues in Europe. They'll take it.
Anything. Well, almost.
Almost. And there are places right now you don't want to go.
Now we played a lot in France when the album came out. And now in June, normally in beginning of July, we're going to to record a live session.
Okay.
With 2 songs.
Yeah.
With one of the labels that released the album. So we're going to work a little bit on that on June. And yeah, we'll record that in July, hopefully.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that because, as Danney said, like the live is quite different from the album. It has a lot more energy, drums. So this session is going to show that, and I think that's
in fact, we changed a lot of things from the album because, well, not a lot. The song is the same, but the way as there is a real drummer, we had to work. It's not just we take out the drum machine, we put drums and because there are parts that the drums are the electronic drums do things that the drummer cannot do, and there is things very different. So you need to fill it with other instruments and change really the way you play and some of the sounds. So the songs feel the same, and anyone can recognize them, but I think it changed quite a lot.
Well, yeah, the drummer did a really great job because he actually really rearranged the songs with organic drum parts. So good job, Constantin.
Yeah.
That's a hard job to step into a band and be like, they've done everything electronically, and now I'm here as the organic drummer. It had to be really intimidating for him.
In fact, first time he came to make a test, he had taken all the electronic parts and noted it, and he was trying to do exactly the same. He did very, very well, but we are not exactly searching for that. We want you to put yourself into it.
Yes. And we want to see if you fit with us.
And play it, how you feel it, and so on. So okay, that's what you want. So, so we did a second test, and it was just amazing. It was like, that's what we want.
I found him. I found the unicorn.
Can you hear that we are really a fan of our drummer?
You are. You've talked about him a lot. He should have been
that's
here.
True. You have to talk about Fabian.
Yeah.
You have to talk about him.
Yeah, but it's
But Fabian knows that we love him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He's like, I already know. Please don't. Please don't. What advice would you give a young songwriter?
Oh, wow.
That's my deep question. That's the last one. That's the deep, hard one I ask at every show.
I have one, but you can.
I don't know. Do what you like, without listening, what people expect or tell you. And sometimes it's you listen too much what people are expecting. Sometimes you get lost into the process and don't do what you really have inside you.
I think I would say better finished than perfect.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea. That's advice I should take. Better finished than perfect.
Yeah, if you want perfection, you never achieve it, I think.
Is that something that you struggle with? Like, it's not quite right yet?
I don't, but some people in the band do.
She's like, I'm not gesturing towards anybody.
Oh, no, that's not him.
Oh, it's not?
But he will recognize himself.
I think that's really good advice. And where can my listeners find your music?
Basically everywhere. Like on all streaming platforms.
So your Spotify, okay. Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, of course. And we are also selling vinyls. We can send them anywhere in the world. So
really?
Yeah, we don't have many left. So, but
one show.
Yeah.
The beautiful vinyl.
Vinyl is so popular, and I personally love the sound better. Oh, CDs, nice.
In fact, we didn't. On the beginning, we didn't thought to press CDs, but on the show.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is a great cover.
Yeah.
And so they can buy your music on any site at this point, or should they go specifically to your website?
I think it's better to go on Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, okay.
Yeah.
Well, go on Bandcamp, listeners, and get some good vinyl, because vinyl has the best sound to me, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something about that little background noise with the needle.
Yeah.
I don't know why it improves everything. I don't understand it, but it does.
It's slightly warmer than any other kind of support, I think. Format.
Is there anything else you want people to know about what you're doing?
No, I haven't thought about that. Well, I hope you didn't mind our rusty English. We tried our best.
You know what? You guys did fantastic. All right, listeners, thank you so much again for joining me this week for another episode of Sound Pollution. We appreciate you. Please download the episode. Download. Like, follow, subscribe, and share the show. But downloading is important. It is what the advertisers see. They don't necessarily see the streams. Also, as I said earlier, we are looking for patrons, and that link is below. And just a quick PSA. I know there's a lot going on, especially over the last few weeks. So just try to be kind to one another and get out there and make some noise.